Hello. Right, so I figured while I was sat doing nothing, I'd just talk about a little something that's been bugging me for quite a while, and it is merely contracts mode. And I tried to do something new. Basically, I'd set up a group of contract creators from different platforms, and I wanted to kind of set up a monthly contracts thing where like every month we would release a certain amount of contracts, and it give the Hitman players something to look forward to. It would be something that would continue on after IO kind of stop the featured contract support, and we could continue releasing content after that had finished. But the problem is contracts mode has a lot of flaws. For one, when you're creating a contract, you're only creating it for one platform, which means I have to then make a video. I have to send it to all of the other guys. They have to recreate it in the exact same way, and sometimes certain elements may be missing or different to the way the original creator would have created it. So that's been creating slight problems. The other thing about that as well is that like we're supposed to be releasing it on a certain date, and when you create a contract, you're instantly publishing them, which means that people can play them before the intended date they're supposed to. So certain contracts might have been played by X amount of people before we even release that as monthly content. So that kind of ruins the whole monthly contract experience, because by the time it comes to the release date, there's not a lot of people are excited for it because, well, they've already played them. So, way of fixing that in the future is hopefully IO is just going to sort out cross-platform contracts so that when you make a contract, you're not just making it for your platform, you're making it for every platform, and you get all of the codes. And also give us the ability to have that contract unlisted until we are ready to publish it for the actual date that's intended. That would just make life miles easier, because that way the creator has an idea of what they want to make. They can make it. It's going to be made for all platforms exactly the same, the way it was meant to be intended, and you can publish it on the date that it's supposed to be published. I mean, like, we've got like 8, 9, maybe 10 contracts coming out each month, and half of them are already getting played, but before they're supposed to be. So it's got its flaws in that area. The other thing that's been annoying me with it is kind of the way that contract creation is made, and I really do believe that like the way you have to tag targets before killing them is really annoying. Uh, let's put it in an example of like making a sniper contract. So the first one I made was the sites of Sapienza, where you're supposed to do all of the killing from ruins. Sound like my gate. Supposed to do all of the killing from ruins. But the problem with that is if the contracts are at the other side of the map, then I am not creating it in the way that it was supposed to be intended to play. So I have to start at the wrong side of the map. I have to tag all of the targets. Then I have to go back to the area where I'm supposed to be sniping from, which is awkward because I've got to traverse through the map, and especially when you're creating something that is suit only as well. Well, it's making it a bit difficult because then I've got to just go through this area and just absolutely annihilate everyone until I get to where I'm supposed to be. That kind of ruins the experience in terms of like, okay, well, what if I wanted to add a mission timer? Well, I've had to spend most of my time mucking about at the other side of the map, tagging targets. So it's that's going to kind of mess it up. Well, if I've got a restricted uh, exit as well, so I have to make sure that I'm getting to the right exit to restrict that exit also. So it's it's basically just not working very well. The best way to fix that is to basically whenever you kill a target in the game, whichever way, they should just become automatically marked with whichever way you've killed them, unless you want to make it any method. So I could start at the original place I want to shoot from. I know which targets I want to go for, and as soon as I kill them in that way, they'll become automatically tagged as a target. Boom, easy. That way, my mission timer will be the way it's intended to be. My targets will be who I want them to be, and and you will be creating it in exactly the way you're intending it to be played once it becomes published. That would really fix the problems there. Um, Also, there's this thing with like you can restrict the exits, but why can't you restrict the start location? See, that would make life a lot easier, especially when you're kind of intending a, a contract to be played in a certain way. So, like for instance, my contract would have been okay. So we're going to be sniping from ruins. So you would restrict the starting location to ruins. That would be really good for certain kinds of contracts, and I think it would definitely make certain contracts feel a lot better by doing that. It would sort of like stop the confusion of like like having to put everything in the description that no one ever reads. So I think that would be cool. You would it would give you the information on right, is your start location, this is your exit location, so people know where they're exiting from before they're getting out, and and then they go, okay, so I'm starting here, I'm going to kill everyone from this location, and I'm getting out here. There's no confusion that way. And I also wanted to talk about something else that had been brought up, because like in escalations and things like that, there was cool elements where you could you need to get to a laptop and you need to hack that laptop, which I kind of feel was a missed opportunity in contracts mode, which probably if we it got a bit more attention and just a bit more effort thrown in for us to be able to get them, we could have had some cool contracts. But really, the best way to tackle that is to just open up all of the laptop locations and safe locations in the creation mode. So that way, when you go into the contract, getting ready to create it for the first time, if you go to whichever laptop you want and interact with it, then that's the laptop that needs to be hacked in the contract. I also feel like that could have been implemented in a really interesting way, as in, okay, so maybe you're going into a contract, the information you need is on a laptop. You get to the laptop, you hack the laptop, you could then get information on a target that would be unknown until you've hacked the laptop, and then boom, your target would show up on the map. So it would completely give you no information on the target whatsoever until the laptop or even safe was either hacked or bust open and you got that information. So then you would get your information on the target, and then the target would show up on the map, and then it's like, okay, so like here's my 1 or 5 targets that I need to kill. That would have been a cool way of like implementing them, and maybe in the future that's something that we might get. I'm really not expecting to get anything brand new from contracts mode right now. This is just more of an appeal for what could happen in like the future Hitman games, because contracts mode really is the end game for Hitman, and I kind of feel like going forward there could be like a lot more put in. Don't get me wrong, I mean contracts mode is all right, but like the tools just aren't there. For instance, also something that's been annoying me is the amount of tools that's been taken away from creators, like specific weapons being picked for contracts. So if I was going to make something that would be intended to be done with loud pistols or loud shotgun, you can't specify the type of shotgun you want to use. That's a problem. So easy way of fixing that is to just kind of specify, okay, so is the gun that was used silenced or unsilenced? So that way, right, right, I can pick a pistol. Okay, I might not have that particular pistol, but I do have another silenced or unsilenced pistol. So that way you would still get to play the contracts the way they were intended to be made. Do you kill someone with an explosive device? Okay, well then it's just classed as an explosive device. Does it have to be like a specific thing? Because that's the problem with explosives, is that like you've got the breaching charge, which is like quiet, and when it comes to like explosive device, most people will just like go to that. Like I would prefer it if you could just like class it as the weapon, but I see why IO don't bother with that. But that's just because of the way they implemented things throughout the game. Like there's items I have that people will never be able to get now, which is just stupid. And they could like IO could have re-released some stuff in the Hitman 3 version of the game. I've been asking for quite a while to get the little flashy in, because there's a lot of people out there that won't have it, but it just ain't happening. We'll get reskin after reskin, but like we can't get these cool items that have like their own special abilities that some people will never be able to get. It's just a shame, really. Like to be able to either class something as silenced or unsilenced, or like a specific explosive device, would just make life a lot easier, because that way you could make a contract that is intended to be played a certain way. We need more tools for contracts mode, not less, and the way we create them needs to become easier, not harder. So this is just me like waffling about what could be done better in the future. Like if we could make contracts as well that we could like set a date and time for, so that we could go, right, okay, I want this specific contract, it's made the exact way I want, I've got all of the platform IDs, that's when it's rolling out. And that would just make life so much easier, especially for everyone, because like I say, I really wanted to do something cool, and we just seem to be constantly running into problems and issues with recreating each other's contracts, and fucking people just, people are busy. Sometimes people just can't be asked. Sometimes people put the effort in, but things get missed, and then they've got to go back and they've got to recreate. There's no there's no editing for anything after it's been created as well. That's kind of annoying. It would be nice to be able to re-edit some stuff, but you know, I just pray going forward that contracts mode becomes a little bit easier to create these contracts, and we get more tools in order to be able to create contracts that are intended to be played a certain way, especially when it comes to making sniper contracts, which I really do enjoy playing sniper contracts, but making them is just a pain in the ass. But we'll see what happens when we get there. But yeah, I think I'll leave that there. I I really do want to enjoy contracts mode in the future, but right now I'm just not. Something could be better. Yeah, right, I'll leave it there. Anyway, thanks for listening to my waffle, and I'll catch us all on the next one. Geeky out.